What's going on, everybody? It's another Monday. Not sketchy. Still haven't worked out a intro for this yet, but that is gonna come. So, hey, welcome to Johnny on the Spot, where just another added dose of your favorite dude, John Jalopy. Hoping that you guys will take some of this extra little bit of content that I'm working on trying to build. Just trying to get some more stuff on the YouTubes and, of course, making it available here live on Facebook as well. So, welcome to the show, Johnny on the Spot. Today, I hope to do some sketching. So, if you're learning to sketch or it's been a bit, I don't proclaim to be an expert at art or an expert at much. My phone is ringing, of course. Let's see who that is. It's a toll-free call. Nope, not today. But yeah, I thought I'd go through some stuff. And what I wanted to talk about today is the topic of, kind of the introduction to sketching, or what I do when I'm starting out and I haven't maybe drawn for a little bit. A good tip or a good spot if you're just starting to learn how to draw a cars, for instance, which is my favorite thing to draw, is vehicles. But what I generally like to do is do side views, and that's a two-dimensional side view of a vehicle, whether it's sitting still, flying through the air, whatever it is. A lot of times when I'm doing design or thinking of the beginnings of doing design, as I shared, if you look at the last two episodes of Johnny on the Spot, or it was Afternoons of Johnny, but we've changed it. One of the things I generally like to do is to go to a side view of the vehicle and start there, because you can work on lines, the shaping of the car, that kind of stuff, and it makes it a little more simpler to kind of just flesh out ideas. So that's generally where I start. The reason I kind of start there is there's this book, and I'm going to show you one of my books that I got when I was just starting to draw or learn how to draw cars. And it's this How to Draw Cars Like a Pro by Tom Taylor, an amazingly talented automotive artist who put this book together with a bunch of different artists' input and things. Whoops, I've got the like and subscribe. Please do that, like and subscribe. Let me remove that. Yeah, I don't know why that popped on. That was interesting. So the idea of it was this Tom Taylor book, and there's another book I searched all over the place, and it is really the one that started making me think less about automotive and drawing cars in this like totally finished perfection of drawing. And it was the book on how to draw monsters and different things. It was more of kind of the Ed Roth version of kind of what this is. And taking a lot of his studio artists and sharing a lot of their ideas, and drawing monsters and drawing cars, which is the fun part. That's the part you enjoy the most, is doing that sort of thing. So really but this was like one of the first books I got to try to figure out how to draw cars way back in the day. And this book is, I don't know, so when did this come out? This is actually the second edition of this book. It was done 2006. So that fleshes out. That makes sense. I was drawing cars way before that, but this is one of those books that, I was like, man, I've seen people, when you look at their shelves and different things, this is one of those things I was like, man, this is one of those books I think would be cool to go. So if you don't have like how to draw cars and stuff, this is a great book. Lots of inspirational. There's some tutorials in it. And so what I thought I'd do is go through it, and then we're going to talk about and actually draw something really quickly. So there's a process in what I'm kind of doing. I'm laying the groundwork. So a lot of people, talk about, here's where it's the Johnny on the Spot. The spot is this. How do you even start? How do you get it? And the inspirations you got to look at stuff and understand how it's being done. So when you go through this Tom Taylor book, there's, full introduction, and he goes through like the history of automotive design, which is really cool. And of course, you get to the one that really is where let's start adding up the costs and your dreams. Like, how amazing would it be to have a setup like that for your pens and pencils? Holy cow, it'd be amazing. But these are just the different tools, using French curves and using ellipses, and when you get to start depending upon how you're going to draw, really amazing erasers, different stuff like that. And then of course the last thing that it talks about is inspirational stuff, which is this books on hot rod, and stuff. And that really is where it starts off. Is you gotta start looking at vehicles and really paying attention to them. So think about the next time you're out at a car show, if you're interested in learning how to draw, or you're want to learn how to sketch and stuff. This is a recommendation from me. And again, I don't proclaim to be an expert. I don't proclaim to be the guy that knows everything about drawing. There's 1,000 more talented artists that could put on a tutorial or a thing about drawing cars than Johnny. Why is that frozen? Perfect. Well, let me go check that camera. Hold on one sec, guys. The technical difficulties never stop. Oh, there it goes. Okay. We're caught back up. I'm using 2 computers. I can only manage one. But anyways, there's a lot of other guys that could probably be a much better, but this is what I'm going to, from John Jalopy. This is mine trying to help you out. And I'm not seeing any comments either. So hopefully if you're on, please let me know that you're there and let me know who's watching. It'd be great to know. And then we can be a little more community here. So again, this book of this Tom Taylor book, which is a really cool book. Well, hey, there we go. I'm far from a pro, man. It is metal. I'm horrible. Diversions. Anyways, hey, welcome. And I'm sorry that I'm butchering your name. Listen. This is what happens when you start wearing glasses. But anyways, this book is really awesome, and it tells you a way to start. And immediately, the thing that it goes into is perspective. And the reason why that is the most interesting drawings of cars are when they're done in perspective, 2-dimensional or 3D, 3/4 view, upper view, behind view, And really, this book doesn't talk a lot about the side view. And personally, myself, I think it's a great place to start, and especially learning like the flow and the lines of cars. And if you look at a lot of automotive design, like these are great all in perspective. Proportions is the next thing that talks about. Here's where it does suddenly mentions a side view, because proportions are important. And again, when you're drawing cars specifically for design and things like that, proportions matter. Because you got to have the wheelbase, it's got to look right, and all this kind of stuff. The greenhouse has got to look correct, and all those things. And again, I'm not telling you to not do that. What I'm saying is, for me, what I like to do is with these 2-dimensional drawings. So I'm going to go through the different spots where there's actually 2D drawings in the book that I think are really cool. Let me pop back on here, like this, for instance. It's a side view. You can still see some depth and dimension in there. So it really is a side view, but there's still some dimension. But you can start and seeing the importance of the lines and perspective, even though perspective and those other drawings are probably more interesting to look at than anything else. But side views like this, like if you're, this is very kind of cartoony. But the side views are the thing I want to talk about the most. One of my most favorite artists, Dave Bell, did a lot of side view stuff in his posters and different things like that. So, and he made side views cool. Like you could see motion and the way he does his chrome and everything on the side views. Why am I talking about the side view? Because a lot of times when here isn't from an automotive design, concept car, the side, the selling of what the car would look like at the vantage point that most of us see it is sometimes from the side. It's not always 3/4. 3/4 is much more interesting, and it shows more life in 3 dimensions for sure. Hey, Johnny Jalopy, what's up? I'm a huge fan. Oh, thanks. Huge fan of your art, and I need a logo for an upcoming event. How can I get in touch? JohnnyJalopy.com is the easiest way, Crystal. Or you can hit me up on any of the social medias, Facebook or Instagram or any of those kinds of things. And yeah, absolutely. Let's talk. That'd be great. Thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate that. So What's up, Phil? Glad you're here. Chuck, what's going on? Thank you so much. I appreciate the compliments. Thank you. So what I'm trying to share is just kind of where I go when I'm first starting out. Sometimes even just if it's been a little while since I've drawn, and the reason for that is a side view is a great way. Great, Crystal. Can't wait to hear from you. Is a great way to just get into it. And it takes a lot of the pressures of trying to understand how perspective works. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to need to learn those things. Absolutely. It's why this book is mainly about perspective and three-quarter drawing. And really, I could do a much better job of, as more people are calling my phone, I could do a better job of probably adding a lot more rear view type stuff, above view type stuff. I need in my own personal arsenal of how to draw. I need to be better at those things. But what I'm trying to talk about here on Johnny on the Spot today is, hey, where do you start? How can I make it fun for you if you're just learning and just starting out? Well, a side view of a vehicle is a great place to start because you can learn so many things there. You can learn how to do good circles. And again, yes, they make ellipses and they make circle things. I'm going to encourage you to not use those all the time. They're great for your final drawings, but we're talking about just laying something down and trying to have fun first. Let's learn the fun of sketching and drawing. A lot of people, I think, put pressure on themselves as they're learning to draw, that they learn that they're working on this perfect piece on every single drawing. And every drawing doesn't have to be this perfect finished thing. Sketching and just doing really rough stuff, sometimes there's fun in it. You can have fun, and this is where you start learning the life, and you can start telling some story and think of concept on maybe how you want to lay down a finished deal. But learning the techniques of circles and squares and rectangles, because that's really what cars are. They're squares and circles and rectangles. As we're going through further in this Tom Taylor book. So again, concept vehicle, side view, right? Super important. Another poster of this amazing race car that was built. And I'm going to bet you in the importance of trying to think of how the car is designed in its look and feel before it went to a three-quarter view. Someone probably sketched something on a napkin or on a piece of paper, and a side view was used. This Porsche ad, side view, really neat, right? And what I love in this book is actually one of the first tutorials on how to do like color and reflection is a side view, because there's some important things to learn about how the light reflects off of a panel on a car. And if you're doing a three-quarter drawing and you're trying to still learn how to do all those things first, you might get discouraged because you're like, man, it just doesn't look real and everything looks very flat. And then as you start trying to make three-quarter view vehicles, it's a little more challenging because you haven't learned the concepts of how does light reflect on just a flat surface, a two-dimensional surface. But you can start having fun. Look at this. This is a side view, but there's some dimension in it. It's not really truly a perfect side view. This is where actually the angle of the vision is above a little bit. It's the side of the car, but we're sitting up here somewhere. That's why we can see the roof line. Same types of things. These are all, there's a cool little side view right there. Still showing some glimpses of, we're almost fisheye in respects of that particular Lance's art. This is one of my favorite side view things where when I saw this piece of artwork, really was inspiring, especially as you look at the beginnings of these drawings and sketches and how there's just so much motion in this side view. So the point I'm trying to make, and I hope I'm landing it. I don't know if I am. Hey, Ed, what's up? Eddie Nash, what's going on? What I'm trying to land as an idea as we get ready to sketch something is that as an artist or somebody who's trying to learn or begin drawing cars, or listen, even if it's drawing buildings and landscapes and things, understanding how to draw in 2 dimension sometimes can be a good place to start. And then you start adding color and shadow and different things like that as you come along in your journey. But learning the basics of squares, circles, and all those things, especially in drawing automotive stuff, is a huge help. So I'm hoping that inspires you to. What we're going to show is that it doesn't always have to be perfect. Loose can be fun. A loose side view drawing can be fun. And this is why generally myself, even as I'm doodling, as I'm taking notes sometimes for different things, I doodle circles and think about cars in their side viewpoint. I shared in the Space Junkie episode, which was the last one, or the first one we did, the first concept drawings were all side views of what we're hoping to come up with in 3 dimension later on. But it started with, how do I lay all these different elements and create a design? And it started with a 2-dimensional side view of a vehicle. So with that being said, let's get into a little bit of sketching, and we'll talk a little bit. And again, let me read it so that there's no haters. Johnny Jalopy doesn't claim to be a professional artist in any way, or a teacher. I'm just sharing with what works for me. Actually, as I was looking through most of my favorite artists, none of them really draw, from what I see them posting. Yeah, a lot of them, it's always 3/4 view, because that's the most interesting in it, and it's the coolest looking. Wiesner occasionally does like a side view, but his is still, there's some 3 dimension in it. It's not truly just what I'm doing, a flat 2 dimension. Maybe that, and then hey Johnny, maybe that's why your stuff doesn't sell as much as theirs does. Because a lot of my art is 2-dimensional side view stuff. And is it because I'm comfortable there? Yeah, sometimes I am, but I really enjoy it. And I have fun trying to make 2D stuff look fun and exciting and have some motion and do some stuff. So we're going to go to an example of what I'm hoping you see and you go, oh yeah, that does look fun. And there's a lot of motion in this. And it was a very rough sketch. Okay, you guys, are you willing to come along? Hopefully. And again, with me in the journey. I'm going to put this away. Great book though. Tom Taylor's How to Draw Cars Like a Pro. One of my favorite books. And again, there's my other one that really popped the brain, that was a huge help. Was I think it's How to Draw Monster Cars. Like I don't know if it said specifically Ed Roth, but it was definitely Ed Newton and those guys, Robert Williams, Von Franco, I think, is in there too. The ones that really laid the groundwork of all that stuff that we are all trying to emulate, is in that book. I don't know where it went. It's so frustrating. And then there's some other books I didn't have a chance to pull out and bring, but there's some other artists, friends of mine, that do color books and different things like that. But as I was looking through their art, and a lot of them don't do 2-dimensional stuff. Like I said, maybe that's the wake-up call, Johnny, is that 2-dimensional is not going to make you a famous hot rod artist like those guys. So learn from what you're saying right now. Gavin Little's on. What's going on, Gavin? Love to see you doing this. Running out the door. We'll have to. Hey, if you're checking it out on the replay and you're not catching me live here, and I plan to do this, it was going to be afternoons, but now it's Johnny on the spot. I can't guarantee it's going to be every single day, but I'm going to try to come up with some kind of thing to talk about on a daily, just to create some awesome content. I say awesome. I'm hoping that I'm sharing something and it's connecting with somebody, and that they get inspired, and maybe it helps them, or maybe one of their kids or something. If you got a young kid in your house and they're just trying to figure out how to draw and drawing cars, and they, I think this is the unlock mode for drawing cars. When I go to the Detroit Autorama, and I've been trying to do this wherever I go, if I get an opportunity and I'm drawing, I'm usually trying to teach kids. This is where I start, is the side view on how to draw hot rods. And because I think it's the simplest way to get them to understand how shapes work and things. So back to this little sketch. So here's a side view, full on marker. This is, I think, I want to say this was like a thick Sharpie. Three-legged dog, getting so discouraged, restarting drawing. Don't. So hopefully this will help you. Don't get discouraged. This is the unlock mode for Johnny's brain, is this kind of stuff. Two dimension. And the reason for that is it's simple. In simple, when I say simple, as in you're not playing within all the, you can break all the rules. Like I'm breaking rules of drawing here. There's no perfect lines. There's no, like, the circles aren't perfect circles. We're look at this wheel. In reality, that's not gonna happen. And if it does, it's not good. But we can have fun here. So this is usually what unlocks my brain to where I'm if it's been a little while, is this kind of stuff. So this is what we're gonna try to recreate this. And you saw it, so I'm gonna lay it nearby, and this is what I'm gonna utilize as a reference, and we're gonna kind of do the same thing. What I generally like to do first is usually I'll do a pencil. I'm gonna go over some of my tools as well to help you along in your journey. My favorite tools to use. And I've done this on Sketchy Live, but why not go over it with Johnny on the Spot? These are my favorite tools. And this. What am I missing? Oh, one of the big ones in the arsenal for sure. Okay, colored pencils. First one. I tried drawing with pencils, and I've tried drawing with super cool artistic arty pencils, and I can't. I don't know why. I struggle. My most favorite thing to doodle with, my most favorite thing to sketch with when I'm just playing around, ballpoint pens, the Bic Crystal blues and blacks and reds. Blue and black are my favorite to sketch with. These are generally, and you can't erase with these. And there's some unlock to that, which is you can't erase, which means, yeah, you got to have fun. And it's going to be sloppy. I didn't erase in any of that. I did it with a marker, and there's no erasing. Challenge yourself to do things where you're sketching lightly, where you can't erase. But, that sometimes in someone who's drawn for a little bit, and it's been a little while since they are, again, even for little kids, this is the thing I see. I watched my own son try to do some drawings, and he's really good. He's a great artist. I mean, he's going to be great if he would continue. He's so talented in everything, but drawing is one of the things he's really good at. And one of the things he would struggle with in the beginning and all through, and I'm sure this is, am I talking to you out there? Maybe you there, three-legged dog, and this is why you're getting discouraged, is you're trying to make perfect the drawing first. Like every line is, you're drawing one line like 18 times because it's not perfect. Stop doing that. Play through the error in it. But when you start working towards that and you've got your skills, and then you start getting ready to do a finished piece, well, then there's steps to take to get you there. But anyways, favorite pieces, crystal, cheap mechanical pencils. You don't have to sharpen them. There's always a good lead. These are my favorite. Again, a Bic product. Why doesn't Bic sponsor Johnny Jalopy? That'd be awesome. Sharpies, the ultra thins, the thins, and then the big fatties. But Sharpies are my go-to for inking. Color pencils, Prismacolor pencils. There are cheaper color pencils out there, but they don't blend, and I don't think they work as good. Like cheap Crayolas and stuff like that. Nothing against Crayola. They have great markers and different things and bright colors. But these just seem to work better. Even the Scholastic versions of these, which are a little cheaper, work better than any other ones that I've bought. Even the ones at art stores that are kind of like their in-house brand. There's just some Prismacolor just works really well. And so I tended to just stick with them. So yeah, Prismacolor pencils. Gel marker. This is a Jelly Roll number 10. That's my go-to for highlights and chrome. Um, uh, Alcohol markers. I really like having a brush tip versus a chisel tip, and I'm sure that's I end up using brush tip more than I ever use the chisel style side, but it's nice to have both. And you can buy these cheap, and you can buy like these are sold at Hobby Lobby. These are those Masters Touch. They work really well. They're not super overly expensive. I think they work as well as some of the other brands that are out there that are really expensive. They probably just don't last as long, but the colors work just as good. So I'm about on the cheap, and that's why I use that. Regular old erasers, just regular pink and pearls that I use. These are the Papermate style. Those are the ones I use the most. I've tried all the fancy ones, and they just don't seem to work for me very well. I mean, half the time I'm using the eraser on the back of this, and I try not to. But as long as you keep these clean, you can do lots of different things with these erasers, and then a good pencil sharpener for the color pencils. I generally, if I'm doing colors, I have a piece of especially Tantone. I like having a Tantone piece of paper nearby for not only just to get, do tests of color, what it's going to look like on Tantone without doing it on the actual paper I'm doing. I'll do a piece of paper, or I'll just take off a crappy piece of what you're using. I love Tantone. Here's why. It's not as intimidating as a big white sheet of paper staring at you for some reason for myself in my brain. This is less intimidating than this. Like, look at how dominating that white space is. This here goes, hey, it's going to be all right. We'll throw some stuff down here. It's not as intimidating. I don't know why, but mentally that white sheet of paper just messes my brain up, which is why you don't see me drawing on white paper much. That's why. In my brain, I'm sure there's an art teacher out there going, get over it, Johnny. You got to learn how to draw on white paper. But I just generally stick away from white paper. I've even bought big sheets of white paper. When I was doing that little combo thing with Drag Daddy, I was so intimidated about that giant white art board that he brought. I'm like, oh my, that thing's so cute. How am I going to fill that up? It's going to show, I don't know. It's going to show everything. And I can't do all my little tricks and techniques of making chrome and making cool colors, but you learn, and I got over it and we got through it. But so we're not doing anything on white today. We're going to do it on Tantone. So we're going to take some comfort level here, but we're going to emulate this. I don't know if we're not going to draw it exactly, but we're going to emulate it. So where do I start? So where I generally start is because I like motion in my little side view drawings, and I'm going to do this in colored pencil, not a regular pencil. So hopefully it shows up on the screen a little better. Which just know that's going to make it, see, I'm even challenging this. You can't, color pencil doesn't erase well either. So we're committing here. So I'm going to do a test thing. See if you can see this. Okay, you can. Good. And really, if I really get nutty, I'm probably just going to grab I might just grab the crystal ballpoint pen and just go for it. I bought this new pencil sharpener. I'm so pissed that, like, I don't know if the blades are at a different angle or something, but it's sharpening my pencils weird. Have you ever drawn your own vehicles? Yeah, I've drawn the idea that I fleshed out for Kona 5 changing into a pickup truck. Yep, drew that multiple times, 2 dimensions for a long time, just trying to get the proportions visually in my head. Let's see. I used to draw tons of Raquel, my 51 Chevy. I haven't done much in the way for Rose yet. I've done a couple drawings of her. But I already kind of have this vision of what I want her to look like, and I'm not doing too extreme stuff. I just really want to do a mild custom. But anyways, thanks for asking, Philip. So, kids, grab your pencils, grab a piece of paper, and here's where I like to start. I usually do the road we're going to go on, and why is that? Because I like to draw 2-dimensional cars. Sure, we could draw it sitting on the ground. But let's have some fun. let's put it in motion. So we're kind of trying again. We're trying to emulate this drawing, and this is just the thought process. So I'm going to draw that rear tire. And is that a perfect circle? No. Let's see. Can I get a little closer? How's that? A little better? There we go. And then I start thinking about the vehicle itself, where the body's going to lay, and I'm like, I never do that. I always go front wheels, rear wheels, front wheels, just like that. And I go, okay, now draw something in there. That's what I do. And actually, this is really, if I'm really going to do it, the style I really is, I like my silly front wheels to have a little bit of a point to them, almost like footballs. Isn't that funny? I just drew that circle the way I normally wouldn't, but I'm gonna do it the way I normally do, footballs. And then I think about we're gonna add Radner. Yep. Okay. So this is like a 34 Ford almost, just based on when I was thinking about it, you mean 32, 34 with more of a 32 grill. So, but anyways, it's really super aggressively chopped. So we're gonna do, coming off the rear tire, there's the body, and we're gonna lay this in, and it's chopped. So square, right? If you're learning to draw this or you're a kid and you're following along, the reality is this is just a square. That's just a football shape or a circle, depending on how you want to do your rear tire. Okay, square. Do you see that square? Now what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of flavor in that square. A little round part at the back, little angle in the front of it, and then a little spot where the back of the body would be. And look, the body line is already below the front tire. I've already messed up, haven't I? No. This part is probably bigger than I really wanted it to be. I've already messed up, haven't I? No. Who cares? We're drawing a cartoon. Okay. Another rectangle on top. Do you see the rectangle? But we're going to draw the roof line. And again, this is why it's important to go look at reference photos. I have this shape ingrained in my head, but a reference photo would be great. I'm using a reference of a reference that I had, right? And then I think about how would the frame be laying in here? The frame would be kicking up. And then, it's got to sit on top of that. When the axles probably drop, so it's sitting like this. So, we're pretending. But again, we're breaking rules. My frame's got a little bit of bend in it because we're moving quick. And then we got our little suspension pieces, our little hairpins, right? Now, in a normal case of a hot rod, usually the radiator would be up here, right? But hey, this is a cool, we're doing like a rat rod. And again, we're doing a rectangle, kids. So here's a rectangle in the front of it. That's a rectangle, but we're going to add a little bit of flavor to it. And again, this is a little oversized, and really that back tire needs to be much bigger considering the size of the body. But you see, I'm not erasing anything. I'm just drawing over it. I lightly have gone through some stuff first, but this is a rectangle. We've made our circle bigger. I'm already got to resharpen my pencil because I'm pushing way too hard. Be light. But I just wanted you to be able to see it. Oh, I'm so mad at this pencil sharpener. Everybody following on here, are you digging this or what? Okay. Please hit like and subscribe and like if you're liking what you see. Okay, so we're going to draw the window. It's another rectangle. It's another rectangle. But we're just going to put a little curve in it because we want a rounded window to go along with this rounded shape here. Right? And that door's got to open, so we're going to go a little line, same shape above it. And we're going to bring that Bring it down. We'll add a little bit of flair. We're breaking rules here because realistically, that door should not be that big. And I think we're going to actually change where the body sits, and it's going to go right here. See, look at, we still have this line under here. Oh no, our drawing is screwed up because I just changed this line and committed to the body being in a different spot. Throw this piece of paper. Let's rip it out, right? Nah, we'll just leave it. We're just going to leave it. It's going to make it interesting underneath. Are you digging it? Brian Lisa. What's up, Brian and Lisa? Hey, rules. There are no rules. That's right. Badges. We don't need sinking badges. Yes, right about that. I'd say those things are stop. Watching the process is great. Bob Ross. Happy accidents. Absolutely. Happy accidents. Look at this is going to turn into a happy accident. This where I drew that body too big. And really that front tire is way too far out. But we're going to have fun with it. Watch. Because we're going to fill this up with a big giant cartoony looking engine. But what is the valve cover? It's a rectangle. It's a rectangle. Can you draw a square? Can you draw a longer square? I bet you can. That's a rectangle. Okay. What sits on top of the rectangle there? It's the intake, right? So we're going to do like a higher, like a raised intake manifold, right? So we're going to add, but it's a rectangle. I just drew just another box on top, and now I'm drawing what looks like, and I don't know if this is accurate in the way that these are actually, but the importance of looking at reference photos, I do know. I've seen intakes that look like that, or the intake manifold, and usually what sits on top of those? Carburetors. Well, how do you draw a carburetor, Johnny? 2 squares. Look at, there's 2 squares on top. Can you draw 2 squares? I bet you can. How do we make it look like a carburetor? Add a circle in the front part. You ever look at like a Stromberg 97? It's a square with this circular shape on the front of it. In fact, this usually is rounded on the front of a Stromberg. Then there's this little protruding part on the back, which is where the fuel sits. And then it mounts to, right? And then it has a little lip on top. And generally that's where the air cleaner sits, or, if you're doing, which we're going to do, you sit your little air cleaners on top. But those start off as squares too. It's just another square on top of a square. Just draw the shape in of the air cleaner. We're not worried about all the details. Oh, how does it carburet with the rod, the connecting rod piece? Okay, we'll draw a straight line then there, and we'll just pretend there's a rod piece there. All right, here's our happy accident down here. Is the exhaust. We're going to do like a Lakes pipe. So we know that we have, in this motor that's here, it has 4 exhaust pipes. So we're just drawing little U shapes. Half a circle is all we're drawing. Half a circle for the tops of them to represent the U shapes. Then we're drawing a straight line. I bet you could draw a straight line. Then we're going to draw another football shape connecting to that straight line. But Johnny, what about this weird thing sitting here? Okay, what about it? We'll draw the attention away from it here in a sec. Get our frame. Or maybe we won't be able to. Who knows? All right. We're going to connect the radiator to the engine, radiator hose. We're going to draw another little square on top of the radiator. We'll put a flying eyeball on the front of it, right? As a cool hood ornament. Right? Got a radiator fin, straight lines. Got some flames coming out of it off the side. Who's inside? Oh, look, it's Johnny Jalopy. How do you know? It's got his flipped brim. air vent, beehive, brake line, brakes, a master cylinder. There we go, guys. I mean, what's up, boogered builds? How you doing? Howdy, howdy, howdy. I hope you see what I'm trying to say is right. That was just they're all. So again, if I was gonna, are you guys good with that? Let's watch. We're gonna do it one more time. How long did that take? A couple seconds. That was with color pencil. So let's go committed to the pin. Let's see if you can see this or not. Yep. Okay. Cool. Again, we're gonna go through the shapes again. So again, we got our circles, right? Circle, circles. We're not worried about whether it's messy right now. Circles. Rectangles is the next one. So let's this time let's do like a 5 window. But still it's a rectangle. It's just a rectangle by shape, right? We're going to use the same concept, which is I just did. I'm just drawing in shapes I know that are in the body of a hot rod, and even this isn't there. I just like doing that. Whoops! Look at all this mess up. Look at that. Oh no! What are we gonna do? Move through it because we're just sketching. We're just having fun. Right now, I'm gonna start just adding fun little details to just make it look more fun. Okay, 5 window. Body line. Oh, that's probably too big. So what? We're drawing a cartoon. But it's not perfect. Okay. Rectangle. Square. Right? We're just going to round that square off because that's the back window. We're going to round some of these corners off because it would be rounded. There's that little hump that the Model A's have. Look, I'm going to add a little dark spot so it's like you're seeing the roof because we're jumping. And then does this have a drip rail? Or there's the top vinyl top. Doors. Oh no, the doors aren't really in the right spot. Okay. You're right. They're not. It'll be okay. We're just sketching. We're just trying to have some fun. We're not worried about the accuracy or we're just trying to think of a fun idea of a better version of this, you know. This is way too far. Oh no. What are we going to do? I just totally boogered that up. No, we'll make it where it's one of those really long, stretched out rat rods, man, where it's really suicide front end like crazy. Because we can. There's no rules. We're in control of this build. Hairpins. Those things are like 72 feet long. Yeah, okay. And again, I watched somebody do like a how to draw thing, and it was on a dry erase board, and nothing against that dude. But I was like, at the end of it, it didn't look like a hot rod or a cool car or nothing. This is going to look way out of proportion, and it's not going to look right because I've made some errors here. but I'm just having fun because we're just sketching. And again, I'll probably, if I was gonna, I totally would redo it, and I would take this and I would squish it down, or just maybe we make the proportions of everything else a little bigger. See, I'm already going over what I messed up on, and this is ballpoint pen. You can't erase. Can't erase it. That's all right. We're just we're having fun because we're sketching. We're gonna do like a multiple exhaust system. Each one of these has its own exhaust pipe, right? And we're gonna do like that really cool, big giant single carb rectangles, circles. Do we need the detail of what the carburetor looks like? No, we don't, because this is just a fun getting our brain to think about hot rods. Right? That's all we're doing. Getting our brain thinking hot rods. Look, I even drew through lines. If we were at a pencil thing, yeah, I could erase that. We'll just darken the line up above it. Right? Do you see what I'm getting at, though? We're just having fun. It doesn't matter. Well, all I'm trying to get you to see is that it doesn't always have to be specifically about this perfection thing. If you're just sketching, this is the part where you should be having fun, like thinking about, like, I'm not trying to do this finished thing. And sure, is it maybe something you don't necessarily post because, or like, oh, I'm gonna show my friends, look at this cool hot rod or whatever. Okay, so you don't, but that, it doesn't mean that there's not something cool here, or that you can't take this and see from what I did here is, like, if I was going to critique my own thing here, obviously I'd fix this rear tire, I'd probably blacken it out, which we may do with colored pencil. And this is how some markers might get you out of trouble. But the idea is that I'm playing around. This is just a sketch. Maybe this is just a warm up. And if you start adding stuff and bringing some life to it, like here's some rocks that are getting thrown off the front tires and the rear tires, and we've got some smoke, because we're burning out, and maybe there's some motion lines that are happening through this wacky air cleaner deal on the top, and we're gonna throw some. We're gonna make some chrome shapes here. Got some chrome going here. The exhaust pipes are chrome. There's where the engine mounts to the thing. We got a radiator and the blades, and you're like, oh, you have to draw. All this has to be drawn with such great detail. No, it doesn't. To have fun with it, maybe, if you're again trying to draw a masterpiece of the first, like if you're just warming up and putting all this pressure on yourself to make this amazing first drawing as you're warming up for drawing stuff, don't do it to yourself. And again, have your drawing pad full of stuff like this where you're just loosely laying down ideas, because this idea or something like this, later on you could go back in, like I like to do these in digital. You could go back in, you could refine this and make it even cooler. But sometimes even stuff like this, it looks cool as it is. I think it looks cool. I think there's something fun about that. It's all loose and messy, but it's telling a story. Like the dude that's in that car, or gal in that car, you think they're giving one crap about how you drew it? They're just excited. Look at, I'm flying down the road in my sick ass hot rod. right? So then, we're playing around, right? So let's play around. So what if I was like, oh, we wanted to give it some life. And a little shadow underneath it. And here's where we fix our tire wheel mistake where I drew that in the wrong spot. Yep, I did. Right. Okay. Watch this. Oh, let's just color it all in. Oh no. Now it's just a big messy blob of blobbiness. That looks terrible, Johnny. And everything is gonna be okay. Right? Well, that suddenly looks like a tire and a wheel. Oh, where's my... Make it look three-dimensional a little bit. Okay. Same thing with the front. How many lug nuts that thing got? It'll be all right. Right? I mean, just took that mess up in the back there, and we've sort of fixed that a little bit. All I'm saying is you don't get all wrapped up in... Yeah, 5 is my number. It's look up the biblical meaning for 5, and that'll tell you why I choose number 5 as my stuff. But yeah, you don't have to look all this stuff that we just did for. We just did this deal here, and we'll add some grays, right? We're laying some color all on top of our shapes. Right. We'll make this look a little more finished. Just from a real quick sketch, can we turn this into something cool? And I'm being super sloppy. And what I'm trying to show you is even in the sloppy stuff of this, it's going to be okay. Real quick in the sloppy stuff, all it takes is a little bit of something. Little blue pencil. Right. And all I'm trying to get you to do is to not sweat for it to be perfect. Every single drawing to be specifically perfect. Have fun taking even little simple sketches like this and turning them into something that kind of looks a little finished, but enjoy just the part where you're just sketching and you're enjoying the thought of like the idea of how could I make, maybe this turns into something that's a little more flushed out, if you know what I mean, what I'm saying. We're gonna wrap it up here because I know we're running out of time. Because I'm being quick. And again, where you're just taking this little simple messy sketch that we did, right? And we're just adding some details to it. The gel pen sometimes will get clogged from the color pencil. Are you seeing what I mean? It feels like we just took that. It wasn't great, and it's still not great. But we just turned it into something that, even off that really poorly sketched sketch, and now it looks a little like something. It's not perfect by any means. Perfect. Boom, boom, boom. Let's grab this one. Got a little reflection off the tire from the fire, the flames. A little bit of it coming on the exhaust and reflecting off the back of this, maybe off the front of that tire there. This is why I love Tantone paper, because it's so much fun, because you can do all these little things with the color. Again, really quick and silly. Do I have a darker blue? It would help. It's not really dark, but really fast and quickly done silliness. I hope you got something from what I was talking about. Again, the idea of what I was trying to share today on Johnny on the Spot was, don't get so focused on perfection in sketching. Go have fun sketching. Grab your favorite card that you like to draw, or just grab, go on the internet, Google your hot rods. Look at every single, just take the side views. Do this for me. I would love to see, post this, please. Post this on my page. Send me pictures of where you've taken side view. Look at the car, break it down into the simplest forms, all the rectangles, all the squares. Have fun with it. Do a cartoon drawing just like I did. Fenderless cars, hot rods are the funnest to do a side view of, because you don't have to worry about, does the tire fit in the fender well? Am I making the wheel arches big enough? Da 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 da. That's the beauty of why I tend to always go with these fenderless hot rods. You could do however you want: bubble top, 5-window, sedan, 4-door, no, convertible, what, roadster, whatever you want to do. Put a person in it, put a monster, don't put a monster in it, put a shadow in it. Who cares? Play with their proportions, stretch it out, make it long, make it short, make it squatty, make it big. But the point I'm telling you is, look at the simple shapes: squares, rectangles, circles. Everything is squares, rectangles, circles. Then they turn into complex curves and different stuff like that. And you can add those to it. You just saw me take, and then again, play around with just adding color and not worrying about the perfections of color and stuff first. Look at, we used literally, let's go to the tail of the tape here. I literally used maybe 4 colors, 2, 3 color of a marker, and a singular gel pen, and we got all this variation and reflection off the body and the fire and into the chrome wheels. And again, look outside how horribly incorrect this proportions are. Like if I could do it over, the body would squat down further. I'd make some adjustments. But here's where we're just playing. We're having fun. And this is where a lot of people get discouraged because they are not having fun in this part. Because they're so worried about getting to the finished result. And I want it to look like a Keith Wiesner. I want it to look like a Von Franco's, or I want it to look like a, any of your favorite artists. You're trying to be them. Well, it's cool to look and study their art and try to be and emulate. But find your own style. Do it your way. Johnny Jalopy's way is detail without detail. I try to just have fun and enjoy it. A lot of people just get so wrapped up in the beginnings of learning how to sketch and draw, a bit of perfection, and it's got to be a finished piece every time. Have some fun. Just sketch and just be loose and look at your shapes and look at your things. And then, like I said, don't even so much worry about putting color in sometimes, because people are like, I don't know how to, do you use markers? Do you use this? Do you that? I get it. I totally get it. Because I was doing that too. But see how far you can go with just a simple crystal gel pen and not do any color. I did add color in that one, but look at our drawing before. It was just the blue color pencil. Grip is important, like how you hold it. I would suggest, if you are a guy that does this, hold your pencil and pen like this, sit for an hour and just draw with the pencil like this. Challenge yourself to hold the pencil in a different way and just sketch things out. This doesn't allow you to be so accurate when you're holding a pencil like this. But if you're this guy and you're drawing and you're doing all your stuff, you tend to, you're pushing perfection. Slide the pencil back. Disconnect your brain from what it's used to, is what I'm suggesting for you. I'm trying to help you get out of maybe the frustrations of sketching and drawing. Go to hold the pencil in different ways than you have, where it's really loose and it's hard to control, and make your brain and your arm and your hands all work together and try. And again, that's why I'm saying 2-dimensional is a fun way to start, because trying to do a 3-dimensional drawing and make sure all the proportions are right, and you're like, it doesn't look like a car. Well, from the side view, we broke all the rules in this we're not. This is not how it's. Look at this is all. Everything is. You could look at, name all the stuff that's wrong with this. It's still fun. And if you showed somebody, they'd go, dude, that's a hot rod driving down the road, and it's got flames and chrome and all kinds of cool, look at it, all the cool stuff's going on. Is there stuff we could fix? Yeah, there's lots of things if Photoshop, I'd take this tire and I'd move it backwards about that far, and it would fit perfectly. And it'd be this really long, stretched out hot rod. Just like that. Like if I could do this again, I would just angle this tire a little bit more like that to match this line. I was going against the positioning of this and following more along the lines of the rear tire, like bringing that through the whole way. But it's still fun here. It's silly because a wheel shouldn't do that. Go have fun. Go sketch. Enjoy your day. This has been Johnny on the Spot. I hope you got something fun from this. Please share this with your friends. Please go to YouTube if you're watching there. Like and subscribe. Share with people. Let them know that sketching can be fun. And I hope you had a great time. And again, please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. I said it again. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. JohnnyJalopi.com. If you are looking for some merch and hats and stickers and art is available there. And again, go have fun sketching. And we'll see you guys next time here on Johnny on the Spot. Have a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Oh, don't forget, stay sketchy. We'll see you soon. Oh, oh, go. Hey, and if you had fun, I'll be drawing tonight live on Sketchy Live. That is 9:30 Eastern time. So love to see you back there. We sketch, we talk about movies, we talk about car stuff, all kinds of things. Sketchy Live, Mondays, 9:30 Eastern time, right here on Facebook and YouTube Live. We'll see you then. Have a great one. See ya.